Hey everyone, in this video we're going to discuss part 2 of the Beginner's Essentials and Basics of Music Theory. In part 1 we discussed the construction of the major and minor scales as well as the triads and seventh chords built off each scale degree. In this video we're going to discuss the intervals, what intervals are and how to use them, as well as the 7 modes of the major scale. So what is an interval? An interval is the distance between two notes in means of pitch. So the note C to G, that is an interval because there's a distance from C all the way up to G, and in this case it happens to be a perfect fifth. There are 5 qualities of intervals. There is the minor, the major, the diminished, the augmented, and the perfect intervals. I'm going to go through the C major scale so I can show you all these intervals. And some intervals are not in the scale, but I'm just going to show you the different intervals that exist, and then I'm going to discuss how you can use them. So, from C to C, the same exact note, if you were to have two different instruments playing the exact same octave C, then it would be called a perfect unison interval because it is one note played simultaneously with another note that's exactly the same. Perfect unison, uni meaning one. The next smallest interval is a minor second. So from C to D flat, that would be a minor second. From C to D, that would be a major second. C to E flat would be a minor third. C to E would be a major third. C to F would be a perfect fourth. C to F sharp would be a augmented fourth. C to F sharp can also be called C to G flat, which is a diminished fifth interval. C to G is a perfect fifth. C to A flat is a minor sixth. C to A is a major sixth. C to B flat is a minor seventh. C to B is a major seventh. And C to C is an octave, a perfect octave. So when it comes to within the octave, those are the different interval names that you will come across. Beyond the octave, so any interval that expands more than an octave, that is larger than the spans of an octave, you just simply add the note 7 to that interval. So a C to E, that's a major third, so you would add the note 7. 3 plus 7 is 10, and then you would have a major tenth. You add the note 7, or you add the number 7 because there are 7 notes of the major scale, or there are 7 notes in a typical scale. So C to F is a perfect fourth, but what if that F was an octave higher? You would take C to F, which is a perfect fourth, add 7 to that, so 4 plus 7 is 11, because there's 7 notes in a scale. Then it becomes not a perfect fourth, but a perfect 11th. That is how you should think about these intervals, because intervals are the basic building blocks of music. And if you know your intervals, if you can get to where your ear training is top level and you can hear an interval, perhaps you don't have perfect pitch, but if you can hear an interval and know exactly what that interval is, you are going to be a much better and more experienced and advanced musician. The next thing I am going to discuss are the 7 modes of the major scale. The major scale has 7 notes, and off of each of those notes or scale degrees comes a mode, and each mode has a different name and a characteristic sound or quality of each mode. So for the C major scale, we'll use the C major scale in this case. C major scale, that's the C major scale, also known as the Ionian mode. It is the exact same thing as the major scale. But for each mode we come across, so we can understand the characteristics of what makes each mode different, we're going to keep C as our tonic. So the Ionian mode, or the major scale, that's the Ionian mode. For the second mode of the major scale is the Dorian mode, which has a flat third and a flat 7, but a natural sixth. So for C Dorian, it would be C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat, C. A flat third, flat 7, and a natural sixth. Not like the natural minor, which has a flat sixth. The Dorian mode has a natural sixth. The third mode of the major scale is the Phrygian mode. The Phrygian mode has a flat 2, a flat 3, a flat 6, and a flat 7. So for C Phrygian, it would be C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, and C. The notes C and D flat make a minor second interval, which gives that exotic feel, and especially if you have a mode or scale that you come across or you play that is the Phrygian dominant scale, it has a very Middle Eastern, Egyptian-like flavor to it. So the Phrygian scale has a flat 2, a flat 3, flat 6, and a flat 7. Those are the characteristics of the Phrygian mode. The fourth mode of the major scale, built off the fourth scale degree, is the Lydian mode. So for C Lydian, it has a sharp 4. That's what makes it different relative to the parent scale, the major scale. So for C Lydian, it has a sharp 4. Sharp 4. So 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. The fifth mode of the major scale is the Mixolydian mode. It has a flat 7. So everything remains the same as for the major scale, but with a flat 7. So for C Mixolydian, it would be C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1. The sixth mode of the major scale is the Aeolian mode, or commonly known as the natural minor scale. It has a flat 3, a flat 6, and a flat 7. It's different than the Dorian scale that we already discussed because it has a flat 6. The Dorian had a natural sixth, but the natural minor or Aeolian mode, which is the sixth mode of the scale, has a flat 6. So the Aeolian mode has a flat 3, a flat 6, and a flat 7. So for C Aeolian, it would be 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. The seventh mode of the major scale is the Locrian mode. The characteristic tones of the Locrian mode is a flat 2, a flat 3, a flat 5, a flat 6, and a flat 7. So for C Locrian, it would be 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. So for these 7 modes, the name of each mode is dependent upon which scale degree it's built off of. And it's because of these altered scale degrees, like we discussed, that gives each mode its characteristic sound, its characteristic quality and flavor. The way you make each of these 7 modes sound like they are their own scale and not from the parent scale from which they come from is you have to figure out a way to tonicize the root note. So for F Lydian, for example, well, F Lydian is the 4th mode of the C major scale. It would be the exact same set of notes. It is the exact same set of notes from the C major scale, just starting on the root F. So 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. The way you make it sound like Lydian for this example and not C major from where it comes from is that you would figure out a way to tonicize that note. So in this case, you could take F major or F major sharp 11. And the way you would tonicize this note is I would personally have a lot of 5-to-1 chord progressions. So in this case, it would be C major 7th to an F major 7th sharp 11. So this is an F major 7th sharp 11. This is a C major 7th. If you went from the C major 7th to the F major 7th sharp 11, that would be one way to begin trying to tonicize that note and making it sound like home bass. Another way you can make, for this example, the F Lydian mode or any of the modes, one way you can make the tonic feel like the tonic and not the major scale from where it comes from is you can use something called a pedal tone or a drone, which is just a note that remains constant. It can be in the upper register or the lower register. So if we're doing F Lydian, I could just play in the F pedal tone in the bass and sustain it, and then just play the F Lydian scale. And that is one way, that's another way that you could help feel the F as home bass, make F sound like it's the home bass instead of C from C major, which is where F Lydian comes from. And that is just an introduction to the intervals that compose music as well as the 7 modes of the major scale. That concludes this video. I hope you can start to see the inner workings and breakdown of music so that you can begin to create music and get a better understanding of what you're writing or what you're performing so that you can become a better musician. If you have any questions, comments, or video ideas that you would like to see me create, please leave those down in the comment section and I will be sure to respond to them as soon as possible. That's all for now. I'm Hunter Davis, and I'll see you next time.